What's up everyone, Fast Eddie here, and this video is going to be about your best friend, the brakes. So I've been meaning to make a video like this for a while now, especially the more I learn and the more I practice and the more I ride, I realize the more and more confidence I have, usually with most of the riding I do, the underlining factor that is giving me more confidence and opening up new doors for my riding ability is understanding and practicing and being able to use the brakes properly. So that's what the video is going to be about. So why am I going to make this video as well? So keep in mind, riders being killed, 54% of the time it's one or more vehicle involved in the crash. And a lot of times this happens at intersections, right? And then 46% of the time it's single vehicle crashes, and a lot of times these crashes are single vehicle crashes where riders are dying because they jack up a corner, they go in too fast, their line's wrong, they can't countersteer the vision, or a combination of all this stuff, and they go flying off a cliff and they die, right? And these statistics are based on the traffic safety facts of 2015. So this is another reason why I'm making this video. So you think about intersections, a car blows through a red light or blows through a stop sign, and just the rider's inability to stop the bike or inability to slow down through a corner, right? So a lot of the times I find riders who just can't stop. You should be able to stop at any moment whenever you're riding on the public roads. That's an easy way to tell if you're going too fast for your skill. Like, I never go more than 60% of my skill out on the public roads, but at any moment, even in the middle of the corner, I could stop. I could come to a fast stop whenever I want to at any time. If you can't do that or don't have the confidence to do that, you're probably pushing way higher than 60% of your skill, and I highly don't recommend that. So riders that can't stop, they don't know how to slow down properly, lack of comfort, knowledge, and the technique. And they don't spend any time practicing using the brakes. So that's a big underlining factor of why so many riders are being killed. A lot of the times, intersections and corners, can't slow down, can't stop, can't brake, no idea. They believe all these myths that are out there about the brakes, and I'll go through that a little bit later. So how to actually use the brakes. The idea is, think about the brakes like a dimmer switch. It's not an on-off switch, right? It's a dimmer switch. So you start at 0%, and the moment you touch the brakes, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way up to 100%. And once you get to that 100%, you just don't drop it again. You don't go back to 0. So you go on to the brakes very slowly, very, very soft, and then you slowly ease off. Think about the brakes, even the throttle, as a dimmer switch. Everything is very slow on and just as slow going off. So dimmer switch, soft, light touch. Very, very soft and light. Dimmer switch, dimmer switch. What you don't want to do is any of this crap with the throttle, with the brakes, or anything else. You don't want to grab it, you don't want to stab the brakes, you don't want to do anything abrupt with the throttle, with the brakes, you don't want to jam it, stomp your foot down, any quick movements, snag it, yank, pluck, clinch, strike, wrench, any of this stuff. Any of these words just take out of your vocabulary when you're talking to someone about the brakes. These should never be done, and they should never be said, because it just reinforces what not to do, right? Soft touch, slowly squeeze, slowly progressive increase, things like this, right? So you don't want to do any of this crap. And the reason why it's such a soft touch in the very beginning, because first, once you got on the brakes, right, the suspension is extended. So this is somewhat of a wheel, if you didn't figure that out. Here's the brake rotor, right, and here's the wheel, here's the rim, and the same thing. So you're riding around normally. Once you get that first soft touch initially, first you have to get the suspension to go down. You have to get the suspension to compress, like it's compressed right here. Then once the suspension compresses, then all of your weight, the motorcycle's weight, all the weight can then start pushing the front tire harder and harder into the ground, giving you better grip. But that's why it's a soft, light touch in the beginning, just to get the suspension to collapse, and then you can start adding more pressure. Because once you do that, the part of the tire that's touching the ground, the contact patch, that's when it starts growing in size, giving you better grip and a whole lot more traction. But you just can't go from 0 to 50% braking. It can't handle that, right? Just like they say in champ school, you want to load it before you work it. So load the front tire before you work the front tire. So get the suspension collapse out of the way, and just in the first, half second, just very soft, you get the suspension collapse down, and then you can start increasing that pressure. Then once you have a bigger contact patch in the front, it can turn easier, a whole lot more traction, a whole lot of benefits, right? So visually looking at this, what you want to do with the brake is squeeze the brake. And listen how I just said that. It's not squeeze. Because that's just like saying grab, but with a different word. It's squeeze the brake. Nothing is fast, okay? So the very first initial pressure, right, is very, very soft. You get the suspension to go down. And once the suspension collapses, then you can start adding pressure to get that contact patch to smash into the ground. All the weight's going forward, bigger contact patch, more traction. Then you could go, so say you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, the suspension has collapsed. Now you could go 30, 40, 50, 60. And then once you start to release pressure, you're done braking, you don't just let go of the brakes, right? You slowly ease off, and then it's 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 9, and all the way back to 0. Everything is very slow on and off. So I want you to imagine the brakes like this nice, rolling, slow, easy hill, and not a heartbeat. A lot of people have heartbeat brakes, heartbeat throttle. They go on off with the throttle and very stabby, grabby all the time with the brakes. So that's a heartbeat. You want to be like a nice rolling hill. That's the idea of how to use the brakes. So for cornering, I want everybody to remember this, write this down like 100 times in a row, over and over and over again. And I want you to, the more you think about this, the more it'll make sense, and the more I want you to apply it to the real world riding. For cornering, you're going through a corner. If you've never been there before, if it's your favorite turn on your way home, if it's an interstate off-ramp or an on-ramp, whatever the corner is, forever, just keep on slowing down. Keep slowing down until you are comfortable with your speed that you're going, and until you're comfortable and you're satisfied with the direction the damn bike is pointing. Until these two things are accomplished and you look like that in your helmet, keep slowing down. And that comfort level for you might be very, very different than me, than that guy, than this person, than your boyfriend, than your girlfriend, than your riding buddy, than your best friend, than anybody else. So if I go into a corner at 60, right, and I slow down from 90 to 60 and I feel comfortable going into it at 60, right, I just keep on slowing down. Okay, I'm satisfied with where I'm going and my speed. That might be comfortable for me. You might go into the corner starting at 60 and you might slow down to 20. That's fine. But remember this, write this down 100 times. I said 50, now it's 100, I just doubled it. Keep on damn slowing down. Keep on braking, keep slowing until you're comfortable. Until you look like this, with the speed and direction that damn bike is going, just keep slowing down. A lot of times riders go into a corner too fast, too hot. Line selection's terrible, they're looking down, they're looking wide, they're looking everywhere else but through the corner. Don't know how to counter steer properly, they don't understand body position, or a big combination of all these different things. But even if you're dead center in the middle of the lane, right, you're looking through the corner, you're not even moving your body position whatsoever. If you just understand what I just said and actually do this, apply this, you just keep slowing down until you're satisfied with your speed and find the bike's pointing in the right direction, which you think is the right direction, okay, then you're good, go through the corner. If people would just do this, I guarantee the amount of people crashing in corners would reduce big time. Keep on slowing down until your speed and direction is good. For you, not for your buddy, not for the people you're riding with, for you. And as we're talking about cornering, trail braking, I highly recommend learn how to trail brake. So trail braking, you ask 10 people and it's probably 10 different answers. So for me, the easiest way to talk about trail braking and explain what it is to explain what normal braking is. So normal braking, say before a corner, you're getting on the brakes, you slow down, okay, and then you let go of the brakes, you're off the brakes, and then you turn the bike. You're just going through a corner. That's normal braking. So trail braking is, okay, you're on the brakes, you're slowing down, then you turn the bike, and you're still on the brakes. The brake light is still on as you start to lean the bike. But you just can't keep on holding it the same. So if you're looking at this corner, whenever you're going into a corner, well, all you're thinking about is the front tire, how much lean you have, and how much brake pressure you could use, front brake pressure. I'm mostly talking about the front brake for this whole entire presentation. You can use the rear brake for every one of these situations, low speed, high speed, but I'm mainly focused on the front brake because it has the most power. So just FYI. So as you're going into the corner, say you're braking a whole lot, there's zero throttle right now. You're not using the throttle at all. So way back here, way down here somewhere, you already roll off the throttle, and as you're rolling off the throttle, you start to get on the brakes. You're slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. 90% of all braking, right? You brake, brake, brake. And as you start to lean, now it's 80% braking because you leaned a little bit. And as you lean a little bit more, you have to trail off the brake pressure as the motorcycle leans. So you're only leaned 20%, well, you can still be braking 80%. And just keep on holding it, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. So the brake pressure has to be released as the bike leans more. So you brake, brake, brake 100%. Now you're leaned over 10%, 90% brake pressure. Lean over 70%, all the way down, leaned over 70%, we could still hold 30% brake pressure. And this is what I mean with this flip side before. Keep on braking and slowing down until you're satisfied with your speed and finally the direction you're going. Into the corner, front tire, lean angle, and brake pressure. That's all I care about. Coming out of the corner for the rear tire, the exit, now you're thinking about the rear, the lean angle, and the throttle. So now you're going, lean the bike, lean the bike, lean the bike. Now the bike starts coming up out of the corner. If you're leaned over at 40%, we could give it 60% throttle. As you lean over 70, you're only leaned over 20% now, 80% throttle. You're only leaned over 10%, 90% throttle. So it's the exact opposite coming up and out of the corner. So you're braking, 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 slow down, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then finally you're braking, braking, braking. And this is all equivalent to how much lean you have, right? Slow down, slow down, slow down. Get the bike pointed and keep on slowing down. Now it's pointed the direct direction. Now you're off the brakes and then you start to get back on the gas. If you're leaned over very far, you'll only give it a little bit of gas, right? So as the bike comes up out of the corner, so down here from my hand to my forearm is the gas. Here's my lean angle. As the lean angle is lessened, is reduced, you can add more throttle, more throttle, more throttle, and go all the way up until you're at 100% throttle coming out of it. And of course, this is all just a general statement. Every single corner out there is different, so every single, like your line will be different. This blue line is more towards like a track racing line than what you do on the public roads, but you get the idea. That's the point. Brake, 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 slow down. Front tire, lean angle, brake pressure, front brake pressure, brake, 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 slow down. Okay, I can see the exit. I can start getting the bike up out of the corner. Now it's all about rear tire and throttle control and lean angle. Rear tire, lean angle, brake, rear brake, or rear tire. Another way to look at it, if that didn't make any sense to you, well then you're probably not the only one, so maybe this will help. So this is at the very beginning of the corner, this is the middle of the turn, this is going into it, this is all the front tire, and this is coming out of the corner, this is all the rear tire. So going into the corner, right, you start to lean a little bit, you're at 40% lean, so you're still holding 60% braking. As you keep on going into the corner, you keep on dipping it in, now you're lean 70%, but you can still hold 30%, right? It's always 100, you can't go more than 100, it's always braking. So now you're satisfied with your lean, with your speed and direction, you're satisfied, you're good. Now the bottom half, now you're coming up out of the corner, so you're leaned over 80%. Well then 20% throttle, right? Just a little bit, because you're leaned a lot. Then as the lean angle is reduced, now you bring the bike up. Now you're only leaned 20%, watch my throttle hand. Now I can give it 80% throttle. So I'm leaned over 80%, I can only give it a little bit. But as the bike comes up, right, watch my throttle. Right? You bring the bike up, you lessen the lean angle, and you go on the throttle, and you accelerate out. So the very beginning of the corner, the middle of the corner, and then coming up out of the corner, you're leaned a lot, only a little bit of throttle. Now you lessen your lean, you add more throttle. So why is this so important? For emergency braking, it's all in the front brake, has the most power anyway. You're going through an intersection, a car blows to the red light. If you don't know how to use the front brake, it's not gonna work out for you. You could slam on the rear brake all you want to, you're just gonna skid for a long damn time. The front brake is the key. You're going downhill and you don't have any confidence in the front brake. If you think rolling off the throttle or engine braking or downshifting is going to slow you down enough for a downhill turn, you're going to be in for a big surprise. Blind corners. You don't know what the hell's around the corner. If you're always on the brakes a little bit and thinking about lean angle and brake pressure going into the corner, if something happens around the corner, which I'm not expecting, a car's just stopped, there's gravel, there's whatever else going on, you just take away lean angle, add more brake pressure, or do whatever you need to do, but it's always constantly on there. You see my hand? I start to lean more, it automatically comes off. I start to bring it up, you can add more. So you're already on both the brake, you're already on the brakes, right? So there's less lag time. You can almost right away do something with it. You can always change your line immediately when you're already trail braking through there. And plus, keep in mind, here's the bike. Whenever you're trail braking, now the front, right? You collapse the suspension, you're going down, more load on the contact patch. The bike could turn a whole lot quicker and easier. You're reducing the rake and trail. You're making the bike more stink bug-like, like this, versus being flat. The bike turns a whole lot easier and quicker. Or what if you've never ever been to a new road before? You have no idea what this route is. You're just going with your buddy, you're in a different state, a different area, never been on the road. Oh, you definitely want to learn how to trail brake. Because every single road, you don't know how wide it is, how tight it is. But if you go into a corner too hot, you make a mistake, or you thought it was a big sweeper, but it's actually a really tight turn. Well, if you're always thinking about front brake pressure and lean angle, okay, I'm only leaning a little bit, maybe I'll only lean 30%. So I'm still holding 70% brake pressure. I'll keep on slowing down, Oh wow, good thing I'm on the brakes right now, and good thing I'm still slowing down, because as I go through this blind corner on a new road I've never been before, it actually gets really damn tight, and it's a decrease in radius. And I didn't realize that at first because it's a new road. Good thing I'm trail braking. Oh wow, finally the exit. So I keep on turning. Now I can take away my lean angle and give it more gas as I'm coming out of the corner, right? So having front brake confidence is the key to managing and understanding all of this stuff. Front brake confidence. I know a lot of people who are really good going uphill. They go on downhill, it's a wrap. Because going uphill, they just rely on rolling off the throttle and downshifting to slow them down. They go back downhill, they freak out. They don't have front brake confidence. That's the idea. Keep in mind, there's a lot of myths out there about the brakes. I've heard, and people have emailed me and commented, you might have seen some of these comments on my page. People literally verbatim wrote me this stuff. If you touch the front brake, you'll crash. Yeah, that's stupid. If you don't use the front brake, you're setting yourself up for failure, and good luck to you. I hope nothing ever happens. I hope you live in a perfect world where nothing bad will ever happen. No deer, no car, no nothing. Because if you don't touch the front brake, or if you don't know how to use the front brake, you're setting yourself up for failure. But to say, if you don't touch the front brake, you'll crash, anybody who would say this or think this, or if you heard anybody say this, don't ride with them. They have no clue what the hell they're talking about. Next, I've heard people, they've typed me this before. Only use the rear brake for the streets. Following on from that, like, oh, the front brake is just for track riding. It's ridiculous. The front brake has most of the power, right? So you're gonna take away most of the power for the street riding. Just at the racetrack, it's the most safe environment, right, that you could ride. Controlled conditions, everybody's going the same direction, there's no cliff to fly off of, there's no speed limit, everybody's in full gear, there's no tree to hit, nothing like that, right? So it's pretty damn safe. On the streets, completely unpredictable. You have to really know how to stop at any moment, and the front brake is the key to that. So to say something like this, again, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, don't ride with them. And really encourage them to take another course to learn what they're doing. I've heard this one before. Front brake will make you flip over. So they don't use it. That's the reasoning for not using it. Yeah, if you grab the damn brake on a standard bike or sport bike, if you give it 100% braking right away, you might flip over. I've seen that happen right in front of me because that's what they did. But that's only if you grab it. If you squeeze the brake, then it's going to be very controlled, easy, very fast stop if you wanted to. So just being afraid of it and believing these things is what people lack their confidence in their overall riding, because they hope. They rely on hope as a technique. I hope nobody blows through this red light today, because I know I can't stop, because in my mind I never practiced stopping, so I just hope nothing actually happens to make me have to stop, because I don't know what I'm doing. Hope is not a technique. Don't rely on hope. That's ridiculous. Continued on, there's more. People believe this crap. Fast riders barely use the brakes. To go faster, don't use the brakes. People have commented this to me and said this to me. Oh, that guy's really fast, he doesn't even touch the brakes. The faster you go, the more the brakes you have to use. The fastest riders use the most brakes. To think this is just a huge red flag saying I am completely ignorant. I have no clue, I've never taken a course before, I have no idea what I'm doing. Again, I don't recommend to ride with people like this. They have no idea. Send them one of my videos, have them go take a course, have them go learn some stuff, have them go practice. But to think you're not gonna touch the brakes and that's how you get faster, you're insane. That's not it whatsoever. And there's a whole lot more. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of comments in about a whole bunch more stupid stuff that people say. I get it, there's a lot of stupid stuff. These are just like the top 4 that I've heard. So the idea, just like anything else, you have to practice. Every single time you stop, you can practice what I'm saying to you. So remember, it's a very soft touch, get the suspension loaded, then you slowly get on the brakes. You come to a stop sign, don't just hold it at 60%, you come to a dead stop and then it just bounces back up. Slowly use the brakes, come to a dead stop, and at the very last foot, literally the last foot of the stop, ease off the brake very slowly, just like you eased it on very slowly, and then just come to a normal stop without letting the suspension bounce around. Every single time you stop your bike, you can practice this. Very slowly on, okay, I'm almost coming to a dead stop. At the last little tiny bit, you kind of ease off the brake a little bit, so it's not gonna bounce back up and rebound very violently, right? So every stop you can practice this. Of course, emergency braking. In my MotoJitsu program, I have emergency braking on for every single one of the belts, white through black belt. And it gives you different goals, different speeds, and how fast you can stop. To practice, just in case that idiot blows through the red light, right? You have to know how to stop your bike very quickly. It's extremely beneficial. And of course, practice trail braking. So for emergency braking, here's an idea. Put one cone or water bottle or pine cone or shirt or dirt or piece of garbage, whatever you want right here. 18 feet later, put another piece of something. Go 25 miles per hour and try to stop less than 18 feet at 25 miles per hour. And don't just be satisfied if you could do it 1 time out of 10. That's luck. Get so good where it becomes muscle memory. That means you could do it so many times, it's very difficult to make a mistake. And making mistakes is now rare. It's not common. You make a mistake, it's like, wow, I just did this 9 times in a row perfectly and only 1 time I made a mistake. Your goal is to practice and get so good where it's difficult to make a mistake. You almost have to try to on purpose do a mistake. Because in that moment when a car blows a stoplight, you're not gonna have time to think about, oh, what was the technique? Did he say squeeze or grab? I don't remember. It's too late. You have to have it ingrained into you. It only comes through a tremendous amount of repetition doing the correct technique, because practice makes permanent. Only perfect practice makes perfect. So be the rider that's 9 out of 10 perfect. You only make a mistake once in a while. But go set this up. See if you could actually do this. I challenge every one of you watching, try to actually do this. 18 feet apart, go 25 miles per hour. Do not start braking until your front tire gets to that first, whatever it is right there. And see if you could actually do this without skidding the tires. That's the goal. Do this and stop 9 times in a row without skidding the tires, stopping before that. See what you could actually do. Go try. For practicing trail braking, set this up. Find a big parking lot, right? So from here to there it's 60 feet. You go in the middle, so at the 30-foot mark, you walk another 30 feet that way. Make a 15-foot wide lane, 15 foot, get some chalk or cones or dirt or shirt, whatever you want to do, just make this lane like this. Then practice going into it. How fast can you go in and out? See how you can stay within your lane. So the whole first half of it, you can see it's brake, get the bike turned down, slow down, then it's throttle out. And you can see the brake pressure overlaps with the throttle, and sometimes the throttle overlaps with the brake because every corner is different. You might not get on the throttle until right there, because until then you're still not satisfied with your speed and direction, so you just keep on slowing down until you're there. Someone else may brake a little bit more in the beginning, then they might start getting on the throttle a little bit earlier, but there's always an overlap of whenever you get back on the gas or when you actually stop braking. But generally, the first half, it's not just the straightaway. This is what I'm talking about. It's not just the straightaway where you have to get all your braking done. Of course, as you learn trail braking through formal education, you brake. Most people get all their braking done. The most hard braking you want to do is done in the straight line. But as you start to lean the bike, you can still hold brake pressure and lean angle. You lean a little bit more, we'll take away a little bit brake pressure. We can still hold it on a little bit. You're leaned over 90%, we can still hold 10% brake pressure. And when you get off the brakes, only when you're satisfied, you are comfortable with your speed you're going and finding the direction the bike is pointing. Because once you start to accelerate, and you start to get back on the gas, if you start to get back on the gas and you think you're gonna go wide and you have to roll off the throttle or lean more, your bike wasn't turned properly. It wasn't properly turned all the way, because once you start getting back on the gas and you take away the lean angle, you should be able to keep on rolling on the throttle all the way. If you have to roll off the throttle, your bike wasn't pointing in the right direction. So just keep on slowing down until you're satisfied, until you are comfortable with your speed and direction, then you can go. But go set this up. So that's just one corner, right? Now you want to practice everything all at once. So set this up. 20-foot circle, 30-foot circle, or a 40-foot circle, and put 20 to 30 feet between it, and just do figure eights. All right, it's a tighter circle, so go down. You can accelerate, brake, try trail braking. Have your front 2 fingers on the front brake at all times, and play with the brake pressure. See what it feels like to brake and lean. You're only lean 30%, well, you could brake 70% if you wanted to. That doesn't mean you have to. If you're only lean 40% and you only give it 20% braking, that's only 60% overall. You still have a lot of room for, in case something happens, you still have a lot of traction left, right? But just practice with it. Maybe brake a little bit right there, lean a little bit, see how early you can get back on the gas, take away the lean angle, accelerate, brake, and go through, and just practice this. Then flip around, go the other direction. Make this a little bit farther apart, make this bigger, make this smaller. You could use your imagination, but this is one thing you can practice. If you want more information about all this stuff, Champ School, www.champschool.com, Total Control, totalcontroltraining.net, SoCal Supermoto, SoCalSupermoto.com, American Supercamp, AmericanSupercamp.com, and MotoJitsu, all my channel, all my videos, everything else. But every single one of these schools teach trail braking. Way more in depth about what I just said. This is just a general overview about the trail braking aspect of it, but this whole video is just knowing that your front brake should be your best friend. If I took away the front brake off your bike, you should be terrified to ride. That's how comfortable I want you to get with the front brake. Be unwilling to ride the bike without a front brake. That's how much I want you to be able to use it and be comfortable with it and practice with it. That's the idea. So of course, like anything else, really appreciate you watching. So Within the last 3 days, I'm almost at 2,000 new subscribers in 3 days, which is absolutely insane, right? So keep on sharing the videos, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, like the video, and share it with others. So again, I really appreciate it. Make the front brake your best friend. Have the confidence in your brake and know that it's most of the power, and it is up to you to take charge of your riding. Realize where you're weak at something and then practice that stuff. Take formal courses like I just mentioned and practice. Practice, practice, practice. And a really good video that really explains the percentage of grip you have. Look up Champ School's lead instructor, Nick Einash. I think that's how you pronounce it. I always mess it up and say Einatash or Einash. But just go on YouTube and type in Nick Einash or Champ School 100 points of grip. And he has a tire and he's talking about that and he explains it very easily and easy to understand. But it's a life-saving skill, knowing the front brake and being confident with it. So there you go. I challenge you to do that stopping drill, set up that practice one corner, and then do that figure eight practicing. And be so comfortable that it's difficult to make a mistake. There you are. Thanks for watching, you guys. See you later.